All right, let's dive into one of the most intense and dramatic stories in the entire book of Kings, the final, prophesied fall of Queen Jezebel. We're talking about a story of judgment, incredible defiance, and a prophecy so specific that it left no room for escape and didn't even leave a body to bury.
Okay, so it all starts with this absolutely chilling prophecy. These words were spoken years earlier by the prophet Elijah, and they really set a grim, grisly stage for everything that's about to happen. And look, this isn't just a prediction of death. It's a promise of total annihilation. It's a fate far worse than just dying.
But here's the thing. Before we even get to Jezebel, the judgment first crashes down on her ally, King Ahaziah of Judah. His story is a really stark warning that sometimes just being associated with the wrong people can have fatal consequences.
So picture this. Jehu, the new commander, strikes down King Joram of Israel, and Ahaziah is right there watching it happen. And in that one terrifying moment, he realizes a horrible truth. His alliance with the corrupt house of Ahab means he's now caught up in their judgment. Just by being there, he's now accountable.
So what does he do? He runs. And this is just pure panic. There's no real plan here. Just a desperate scramble through gardens and back roads, trying to get away. But Jehu? He's not having it. His order is swift and absolute. Smite him also. Ahaziah isn't just collateral damage, he's a specific target. He gets wounded but manages to make it to Megiddo, but that's where his luck runs out.
Okay, but this is where it gets really interesting. Ahaziah is judged, yes, and he dies. But his servants are actually allowed to take his body back to Jerusalem and give him a proper royal burial. And that difference is everything, because it sets a standard for how a royal is treated, a standard that is about to be violently denied to Jezebel.
So why does this matter so much? Well, even in death, Ahaziah's royal lineage through King David is recognized. It's like a signal that the promise God made to David's family line, it's been damaged by this king's bad choices, sure, but it's not totally broken. He's judged, but he isn't erased from history. Now keep that in mind, because that's a privilege Jezebel is definitely not going to get.
All right, so let's shift gears and head over to Jezreel, because with Ahaziah dead, Jehu's chariot is now thundering toward the palace and toward the queen mother herself.
So Jezebel gets the news. Jehu's on his way. And what does she do? Does she run? Does she hide? Nope. She goes to her chambers, she paints her eyes, she does her hair. And let's be clear, this is not her trying to seduce him. This is a power move. This is a final, powerful act of defiance. She is dressing as a queen to face her enemy, and she's asserting that royal identity right to the very end.
And as Jehu rides through the gate, she's right there at her window, ready with this epic taunt. She's comparing him to Zimri, this other guy who assassinated a king and only managed to hold on to power for 7 days. She's basically looking down at him and saying, "You think you've won? History isn't kind to traitors like you."
But, and this is a huge but, she makes a fatal mistake right here. She doesn't see the crucial difference. Zimri was just some guy trying to grab power. Jehu, on the other hand, is acting on a divine mission to destroy the very idolatry that she brought into Israel. He isn't just another usurper. He is an instrument of God's judgment.
And all of that, her defiance, her miscalculation, it all brings us right to this moment. That window, which she thought was her stage for a final stand, is about to become the scene of her downfall.
And Jehu, he doesn't even waste his breath arguing with her. He doesn't get into a history debate. He just looks up and shouts this one question that cuts through everything. Who is on my side? It's the only thing that matters now. Who really has the power?
And you will not believe what happens next. Her own servants, the eunuchs who are with her in her private rooms, they look out at Jehu. Her power just evaporates. In an instant, the loyalty of the people closest to her is gone the second a new authority shows up. The moment Jehu sees he's got them, the command is just shockingly blunt. Throw her down. There's no trial, no ceremony, just a simple order that seals her fate.
And just like that, it's over. But the sheer brutality of it is, wow. Her own servants toss her from the window. Her royal blood splatters against the palace walls, and Jehu just drives his chariot and horses right over her body. The queen who ran everything is literally being trampled into the dirt.
So after all that chaos, Jehu just goes inside to have a meal. The job is done. But it's right here, in this quiet moment, that the real terrifying significance of what just happened starts to sink in.
You know, for just a split second, it looks like she might get a tiny bit of respect in death. Jehu may be thinking about the fact that she was born a princess, the daughter of a king, orders her buried. It's a flicker of decency. But God's prophecy, it had other ideas.
And you got to stop and think about the timing here. The prophecy against Jezebel was made years, maybe even decades earlier. Did all that time make it weaker? Did her power stop it? Not a chance. It's like this divine sentence was just waiting patiently for the perfect moment to be fulfilled, right down to the last detail.
Because when Jehu's guys go out to bury her, like he asked, this is what they find. Almost nothing. The dogs of Jezreel have already been there, just as Elijah predicted. All that's left are these 3 fragments. Just enough to prove it was her, but way, way too little to actually honor her with a burial.
And when they tell Jehu what they found, it's like a light bulb goes off. He makes the connection immediately. He links this grisly scene directly to the words Elijah spoke so long ago. He gets it. He wasn't just leading a coup, he was carrying out a divine sentence.
But it gets even worse. Because the prophecy wasn't just about a violent death or being eaten by dogs. There was one final layer, one final humiliation.
And this is maybe the most horrifying part of the whole prophecy. See, back then, not getting a proper burial was a huge curse. But Jezebel's fate was even worse than that. Her remains were to be like dung on the field, just scattered, worthless, and unrecognizable. The point wasn't just that she would be unburied. The point was to so completely desecrate her that her very identity would be wiped from the land she once ruled.
And there it is. The prophecy is complete. They shall not be able to say, "This is Jezebel." All that's left is the name, a warning. But on the ground, in Jezreel, there's nothing left to point to, nothing to entomb, nothing to remember.
I mean, that is a truly chilling end to a life lived with so much power. It really makes you think, right? What does it mean when the ultimate judgment isn't just to end your life, but to erase you from existence entirely? It's a sobering thought.